And there should be a red. But yeah, at that job, it's like stuff happens occasionally inside that place. I had one manager say he saw hot dogs jumping off a shelf one day. I mean, he wasn't like fucking around. He's more of a serious person, you know. I mean, he was like we were just stocking hot dogs, and then it's like next thing I know, it's like 2 or 3 of them just went and flew off. But I mean, you know, depending on how they were stacked, I could see that happening naturally. But I don't know. But there were events that took place in there that were clearly not normal. Ouch! My legs fell asleep again. In one case, the chick that I was talking about, the one that I probably shouldn't have messed with, we were over on one side of the building, and she was stocking something on an end cap. And I went over there to kind of mess with her, you know, because I was on lunch. I didn't give a shit. I had nothing else to do. So I'm talking to her, and as she's going and turning to talk to me, and I'm turning to talk to her, you know, we make eye contact, blah, blah, blah. And over here, a package of water guns that had been up on a shelf peg, you know, they go wobble, wobble, wobble. And they just go and land face down, flat face down on the floor between us. And I'm like, what the fuck? And she goes, that's probably the thing that's been pinching my ass or grabbing her or whatever. Because, you know, she had said that she had felt things over there that were not there, you know, which is kind of hilarious in a way. I see. And yeah, and that doesn't shock me because other people there have said that they've seen and felt things too. And, you know, my one Indian type buddy, he was telling me about how he always saw shit in there. But, you know, he was good like that. He could see shit everywhere. And that doesn't mean he's just, like, saying he's seeing shit everywhere. He actually does. But, yeah. So, there's nothing strange about that. I mean, particularly... And that's not the only time I've ever encountered, like, poltergeisty type shit either. Like, one time I'm there with my ex-wife, right? And she's over on mattresses, on her computer, on her laptop, minding her own business. A big dog over here asleep, a big dog over there asleep. And I'm on the floor, and I'm next to an entertainment center. And the entertainment center is flat, and there's a bolt of printer paper, also flat, sitting on the shelf like this. So I'm not even moving. I'm just on the floor. I'm on my mouse. I'm on the computer. Nothing is weird. Nothing should be happening. Out of nowhere, boom! I mean, there was no sound, but all those papers, that bolt of printer paper, just exploded all over the fucking room. And I look over at her, and we're all getting covered in paper. The paper's just going everywhere. You know, it's covering the dogs, it's covering me, it's covering her. Everything's covered in fucking paper. It's kind of hilarious, actually. And, you know, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And she's like, oh my God, you know, because it was everywhere. And I look at her and I go, is this you? You know, because, you know, I could talk about shit like that. And she goes, no, this isn't me. This one's not me. I'm like, what the fuck? And, you know, I just nonchalantly get up and pick up all the printer paper because, you know, what else am I going to do? Just leave it there? Shit. It just kind of sucked, you know. It was like 52 pickup. But, yeah. It happens. But, yeah, I mean, you know, I was looking at her. She was looking at me, and then, whoop, off pops this, fucking, you know, a package of water guns. And it wasn't like they were sitting on the edge ready to fall over. They actually shimmied forward, taking a moment to shimmy forward before jumping off the shelf, literally like a fish jumping out of water, and flopping down onto the ground. And, I mean, it was very, very, very pronounced. I mean, it wasn't even open to debate what we had just seen, you know. And, I mean, you know, It was kind of crazy. And like another thing we saw in that place, or well, no, this is actually years later. I'm there working in an area of there, and I'm alone, and I hear what sounds like somebody running through the aisles, like fucking with me, kind of. I thought it was one of my coworkers, honestly, and I thought that was kind of funny, because it's always funny to fuck with people like that, and I'm expecting to see them at any moment, but I don't see anybody. So it keeps going on, and finally I get the idea to be hunting them. So I'm like, sneaking up on what I think is them, and I jump into the view of the aisle, and there's nothing there. And I'm like, what the fuck? They're not there? I could have sworn this is where I heard them. And then the sound starts happening behind me, from behind these boxes that are really low to the ground. And I'm like, holy shit, there's no way somebody I know is on the ground that low and fucking with me like this. I mean, it is way down low on the ground. I mean, they would have to be really, really short to be able to pull that shit off. And, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And, so I walk over to there, and there's nothing on that side. And I'm like, this is getting weird. This is just getting really weird. And to top it off, my equipment at this place was fucking up hardcore. Like, it was... Man, I had to restart my freaking device I was using over and over and over again. And then when it would start working, it would start glitching. Like, actual glitching. Like, not just not letting you sign in, nothing like that. It was actually just glitching. Like, hardcore fucking screwing up. And that was pissing me off pretty bad. And the whole time, I was hearing shit that sounded like somebody was in there with me. I mean, it's very frustrating when you look and there's absolutely no one fucking there. So, oh my god, no wonder I couldn't find that part. So that should be the end of the story, I thought somebody was in there fucking with me and nobody was there, so, I guess it was something weird, who knows. So... about an hour, no, not even an hour later, like maybe a half hour later, me and my buddy go up to the eatery on our lunch, and, I didn't even get a chance to even talk about this shit, right? It's like, we go in there, and I take my order, and the chick at the desk goes, okay, you want a number 6 with cheese, and a small drink, and fries, and we're haunted today. And I'm like, what? She goes, we are freaked out up here today. We are. There's like haunted shit going on. We're like losing our mind. I'm like, well, what's happening? And meanwhile, my brain's ticking really fast. Like, shit, this is what was just happening to me. Just a couple yards away down at the other place. And it's like, she goes, oh my god, it's fucking crazy. It's like, it sounds like there's people here, but there's nobody here. And it's like, we're getting all freaked out and shit, and I'm like, oh my god, this is exactly what happened to me, and fuck, where's that go? But yeah, they're like, oh god, yeah, we're freaking out, man. It's fucking crazy here tonight. It's like, it sounds like there's customers that are here that are not here. Our equipment keeps fucking up. It keeps sounding like somebody's going through the drive-through, on our walkies. But it's like nobody says anything. It's just blank. But we know that something's there, and it was like everything that I was pretty much describing, kind of. Or everything that pretty much happened to me was happening to them simultaneously, it seems. And I'm like, well, what else? Anything else, And they're like, yeah, it's like there's these loud bangs that just keep happening, too. And I'm like, oh, it's not like a cooker or something doing that? They're like, no. And right as they're saying that, I mean, these girls are scared. They're actually sitting with us, or close to us, because they're mildly terrified, And... just as they're talking about the banging sound, I'm like, well, what's it sound like? And it's like, boom! There is an explosive sound over in the kitchen area. I'm like, what what the fuck? I'm like, that's not a piece of equipment. And they're like, we know that there's no equipment that can do that. There's no heating system that can do that. No air conditioning. They're like, that makes no sense. I'm like, no, it doesn't. I go, it sounds like somebody just went bam. And they're like, that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, they were getting fucked with relentlessly while, even while we were up there. I mean, it was hilarious. I mean, taking this from a skeptic's viewpoint, what the fuck do you make it at? I mean, seriously, you have a bunch of weird events happening where you're working, and then when you go on lunch, you find out that the people all the way across the parking lot are having these same events. And the same emotions and the same feelings are happening there, that there's people there that aren't, I mean, it's a rather interesting thing, isn't it? I mean, it's like almost like a marching band of spirits or some shit, I don't know, came barreling through and thought it would be hilarious. I don't know. I mean, again, we're talking about the laws of probability here. What are the laws of probability on this? That I'm feeling and experiencing the sensation that there are things there fucking with me and fucking with my equipment, and we just happen to have it where people very close by are having the same exact things go on with them. At some point you've got to go, okay, it's no longer coincidence, now it's just fucky. I don't know. It's just kind of funny. My headache is killing me, but I want to keep going.